Let's kick things off with a simple, maybe even a kind of weird observation from marketing legend Seth Godin. Cows, after you've seen them for a while, are boring. Now, that might sound strange, but stick with me, because that one little thought is the key to unlocking one of the biggest shifts in business we've seen in the last 50 years. So in this explainer, we're going to break down Godin's game-changing book, Purple Cow. We're going to see why all the old marketing rules are completely broken and how the only way to win today is to be, well, remarkable. All right, so to really get where we are now, you got to understand where we came from. For decades, marketing was pretty simple. It had this magic formula, right? You create a safe, kind of average product for everybody, and then you just dump a ton of money into advertising it. It was the golden age of the brown cow. Now, the engine that drove this whole thing was something Godin calls the TV industrial complex. And it's genius, really. Think about it. A company like Procter & Gamble comes up with Tide laundry detergent. They blast the airways with TV ads. You see the ads over and over. You start to trust the brand, and you buy Tide. And what do they do with all that profit? You guessed it, they buy more TV ads. It was this perfect self-fueling cycle that built giants. Crest, Cap'n Crunch, you name it. It was a perfect system. Until one day it wasn't. And you can just see the total flip right here. Back in the TV industrial age, the playbook was all about average products for anyone and everyone. You were terrified of failure, so you played it safe. Today, it is the complete opposite. You absolutely need remarkable products, and you can't advertise to everyone. You have to aim for a very specific group, the early adopters. And the biggest fear you should have, it's not failure. It's the fear of being boring. The real danger is being too scared to try something new. So what happened? What broke this perfect system? Well, this. We are just drowning in choice. I mean, think about the last time you walked down the cereal aisle. There are 100 options. We have more choices for literally everything than ever before in human history, but we have less and less time to actually sort through them. So what have we done? We've learned to ignore almost all of it. We have to, just to stay sane. Okay, so if the old playbook is useless and we're all too busy to pay attention, how on earth does anything new break through all that noise? Well, the answer is simple. It's powerful and, yeah, it's a little bit purple. So Godin tells this great story about driving through the French countryside. And at first, seeing all these beautiful cows and these perfect green pastures, it's amazing, it's charming. But, after about 20 minutes, they just become cows. They're just part of the scenery. They're boring. But then he had this thought. What if, in the middle of all those normal brown and white cows, you suddenly saw a purple cow? Now that you would notice. You'd probably slam on the brakes. That is something you would absolutely tell your friends about later. And that right there is the heart of this entire idea. Remarkable marketing isn't about some clever ad you tack on at the end. It's about designing the product or service to be worth talking about from day one, from its very DNA. Because here's the hard truth. If your product isn't remarkable, it's invisible, period. And this is just a perfect example. The original Volkswagen Beetle became a massive hit in America because of one of the most brilliant, witty ad campaigns ever created. It was a total triumph of that old TV industrial complex. But the new Beetle, its success was totally different. It came from the product itself. The design was so unique, so different, so, well, remarkable, that every time one drove down the street, it was its own rolling advertisement. But being remarkable is just the first step. A great idea can't just appear out of nowhere. It needs a path, a very specific way to travel from a small group of passionate fans all the way to the mainstream. So let's take a look at how that actually works. This is what's known as the idea diffusion curve. And what it shows is that new things don't just get adopted by everyone all at once. Nope. They start way over on the left with the innovators and early adopters. These are the people who are actively looking for new stuff. And only after an idea wins them over does it have any shot at crossing over into that big, profitable mainstream majority in the middle. So this is the key insight, and it's so important. You cannot market to the middle of the curve anymore. It just doesn't work. The mainstream, the majority, they're too busy, they're pretty happy with what they've got, and they are experts at ignoring you. Your only way in, your only chance, is to start on the far left with the people who actually want to hear what you have to say. And inside that early group, you find the most important people of all,
Godin calls them sneezers. These are the experts, the enthusiasts, the geeks who, when they find something new that they love, they can't help but talk about it. They tell their friends, their colleagues, they post about it. They are the ones who spread your idea virus to everyone else. Your entire marketing job should be to create something these sneezers will go crazy for.
So if being remarkable is so powerful, why isn't everyone doing it? I mean, it seems obvious, right? Well, the answer really boils down to a huge misunderstanding of what risk actually means in the world we live in today. And it all comes down to one thing: fear. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? For 100 years, the safest thing you could do is fit in. Make a product that was fine, that offended no one. But in today's crowded, noisy world, that strategy is a death sentence. Being invisible is exactly the same as failing. And here we go. This is probably the most counterintuitive and maybe the most important idea in the entire book. What is the opposite of remarkable? It's not bad or mediocre. The opposite of remarkable is very good. Think about that. Why? Because very good is what we all expect now. It's the default setting. It's an airline flight that lands on time. It's a hotel room that's clean. It's boring. And nobody talks about boring. So why do we settle for very good? Fear, plain and simple. We're afraid of being criticized, we're afraid of being made fun of, we're afraid some people won't like our thing. But here's the secret. If you create something truly remarkable, some people have to hate it. That's part of the deal. Criticism isn't a sign you're feeling, it's a sign that you're finally being noticed. So let's just flip this whole idea of risk completely on its head. In a world that is deciding to ignore anything ordinary, what is the single most dangerous, most risky thing you can do? Be boring. The riskiest strategy you can possibly choose today is to play it safe. All right, let's bring this all home with a bit of a challenge. A new way to think about innovation. If all the old rules are broken, then playing by them is a guaranteed way to lose. Maybe it's time to start cheating. Think about these companies. To their old-school competitors, it probably looked like they were cheating. JetBlue used airports nobody wanted. Starbucks basically invented a whole new category between home coffee and a restaurant. Amazon completely broke the rules of retail. HBO ignored the network TV model and poured all its money into amazing shows for just one night a week. They weren't cheating, they were just playing a different game with new rules. They each built their own purple cow. So that's really what it all boils down to. The old way, safe products, big ad budgets, that's finished. The new rule is to build remarkability right into the thing you make so that the right people, those sneezers, will find it and do the marketing for you. Which really only leaves us with one last question to think about. Why aren't you?